तथैनम् इत्यजातं नित्यं वा मन्यसे मृतम् तथापि त्वं महाबाहो नैनं शोचितुमर्हसि जातस्य हि ध्रुवो मृत्युर्ध्रुवं जन्म मृतस्य च तस्मादपरिहार्येऽर्थे न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि अव्यक्तादीनि भूतानि व्यक्तमध्यानि भारत अव्यक्तनिधनान्येव तत्र का परिदेवना आश्चर्यवत् पश्यति कश्चिदेनम् आश्चर्यवद् वदति तथैव चान्या आश्चर्यवच्चैनमन्यः शृणोति श्रुत्वाप्येनं वेद न चैव कश्चित् देहि नित्यम् अवध्योऽयं देहे सर्वस्य भारत तस्मात् सर्वाणि भूतानि न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि स्वधर्मम् अपि चावेक्ष्य न विकम्पितुमर्हसि धर्म्याद्धियुद्धात् श्रेयोऽन्यत् क्षत्रियस्य न विद्यते यादृच्छया चोपपन्नं स्वर्गद्वारमपावृतम् सुखिनः क्षत्रिया पार्थ लभन्ते युद्धमीदृशम् अतः चेत्त्वम् इमां धर्म्यं संग्रामं न करिष्यसि तथा स्वधर्मं कीर्तिं च हित्वा पापम् अवाप्स्यसि अकीर्तिं चापि भूतानि कथयिष्यन्ति ते व्ययाम् संभावितस्य चाकीर्तिर्मरणात् अतिरिच्यते भयाद्रणात् उपरतं मंस्यन्ते त्वां महारथाः येषां च त्वं बहुमतो भूत्वा यास्यसि लाघवम् अवाप्स्यवादांश्च बहून् वदिष्यन्ति तवाहिताः निन्दन्तस्तव सामर्थ्यं ततो दुःखतरं नु किम् अतो वा प्राप्स्यसि स्वर्गं जित्वा वा भोक्ष्यसे महीम् तस्मादुत्तिष्ठ कौन्तेय युद्धाय कृतनिश्चयः सुखदुःखे समे कृत्वा लाभालाभौ जयाजयौ ततो युद्धाय युज्यस्व नैवं पापम् अवाप्स्यसि एषा ते विहिता सांख्ये बुद्धिर्योगे त्विमां शृणु बुद्ध्या युक्तो यया पार्थ कर्मबन्धं प्रहास्यसि नेहाभिक्रमनाशोऽस्ति प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते स्वल्पमप्यस्य धर्मस्य त्रायते महतो भयात् व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिरेकेह कुरु नन्दन बहुशाखा ह्यनन्ताश्च बुद्धयो व्यवसायिनाम् यामिमां पुष्पितां वाचं प्रवदन्त्यविपश्चितः वेदवादरधा पार्थ नान्यदस्तीति वादिनः कामात्मना स्वर्गपरा जन्म कर्म फलप्रदाम् क्रियाविशेषबहुलां भोगैश्वर्यगतिं प्रति भोगैश्वर्यप्रसक्तानां तया पाहृतचेतसाम् व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धि समाधौ न विधीयते त्रैगुण्या विषया वेद निस्त्रैगुण्यो भवार्जुन निर्द्वन्द्वो नित्यसत्त्वस्थो निर्योगक्षेम आत्मवान् यावानर्थ उदपाने सर्वथा सम्प्लुतोदके तावान् सर्वेषु वेदेषु ब्राह्मणस्य विजानतः कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्मफलहेतुर्भुर्मा ते सङ्गोऽस्त्वकर्मणि योगस्था कुरु कर्माणि सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा धनञ्जय सिद्ध्यसिद्ध्यो समो भूत्वा समत्वं योग उच्यते दूरेण ह्यवरं कर्म बुद्धियोगात् धनञ्जय बुद्धौ शरणमन्विच्छ कृपणा फलहेतवः बुद्धियुक्तो जहातीह उभे सुकृतदुष्कृते तस्माद् योगाय युज्यस्व योगकर्मसु कौशलम् कर्मजं बुद्धियुक्ता हि फलं त्यक्त्वा मनीषिणः जन्मबन्धविनिर्मुक्ता पदं गच्छन्त्यनामयम् यदा ते मोहकलिलं बुद्धिर्व्यतितरिष्यति तदा गन्तासि निर्वेदं श्रोतव्यस्य श्रुतस्य च श्रुतिविप्रतिपन्ना ते यदा स्थास्यसि निश्चला समाधौ अचला बुद्धिस्तथा योगम् अवाप्स्यसि अर्जुन उवाच स्थितप्रज्ञस्य का भाषा समाधिस्तस्य केशव स्थितधि किं प्रभाषेत किमासीता व्रजेत किम् श्रीभगवानुवाच प्रजहाति यदा कामान् सर्वान् पार्थमनोगतान् आत्मन्येवात्मना तुष्टः स्थितप्रज्ञस्तदोच्यते दुःखेनाप्यस्वार्थः दुःखेष्वनुद्विग्नमनाः सुखेषु विगतस्पृहः वीतरागभयक्रोधः स्थितधीर्मुनिरुच्यते यः सर्वत्रानभिस्नेहस्तत्तत्प्राप्याशुभाशुभम् नाभिनन्दति न द्वेष्टि तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता यदा संहरते चायं कूर्मोऽङ्गानीव सर्वशः इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेभ्यस्तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता विषया विनिवर्तन्ते निराहारस्य देहिनः रसवर्जं रसोऽप्यस्य परं दृष्ट्वा निवर्तते यततो ह्यपि कौन्तेय पुरुषस्य विपश्चितः इन्द्रियाणि प्रमादीनि हरन्ति प्रसवं मनः तानि सर्वाणि संयम्य युक्त आसीत मत्परः वशे हि यस्येन्द्रियाणि तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसः सङ्गस्तेषूपजायते सङ्घात् सञ्जायते कामा कामात् क्रोधो विजायते क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोह सम्मोहात् स्मृतिविभ्रमः स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशो बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति रागद्वेषविमुक्तैस्तु विषयान् इन्द्रियैश्चरन् आत्मवश्यैर्विधेयात्मा प्रसादम् अधिगच्छति प्रसादे सर्वदुःखानां हानिरस्योपजायते प्रसन्नचेतसो ह्यासु बुद्धिः पर्यवतिष्ठते नास्ति बुद्धिरयुक्तस्य न चायुक्तस्य भावना न चाभावयतः शान्तिरशान्तस्य कुतः सुखम् इन्द्रियाणां हि चरतां यन्मनोनुविधीयते तदस्याहरति प्रज्ञां वायुर्नावम् इवाम्बसि तस्माद् यस्य महाबाहो निगृहीतानि सर्वशः इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेभ्यस्तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता या निशा सर्वभूतानां तस्यां जागर्ति संयमी यस्यां जागृति भूतानि सा निशा पश्यतो मुनेः आपूर्यमाणम् अचलप्रतिष्ठं समुद्रमापा प्रविशन्ति यद्वत् तद्वत् कामायं प्रविशन्ति सर्वे स शान्तिमाप्नोति न कामकामी Vihaya kamanya sarvan pumanscharati nispruhaha. Nirmamo nirahankaraha sashantim adhigacchati. Esha brahmi sthiti partha nainam prapya vimuhyati. Sthitvasyam antakalepi brahma nirvana mrichyati. Om Tat Saditi Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Sankhya Yoga Namaha Ditiyodhyaya Sampurnam. Okay, 59, right? We need to start 59 today. Yep.
It is like a Arjuna Vacha, Bhagwan Vacha means it's the continuation of Bhagwan Vacha. Continue, Bhagwan is telling, right?
Yes.
Sloka.
Yeah. So wherever it stays, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. So Krishna starts speaking. Until you see another Arjuna Uvacha, all those shlokas in between, they're all spoken by Krishna. Yeah. So among the 700 shlokas from Bhagavad Gita, 574 shlokas were spoken by Krishna. And then Dhritarashtra, one shloka, the very first shloka, Dhritarashtra Uvacha. Okay. And then Sanjaya, some 50, 60 shlokas. And remaining Arjuna. So there are four speakers. Dhritarashtra, Arjuna, Sanjaya, Krishna. Yeah.
574 by Krishna.
574 by Krishna. Yeah. And many verses that were spoken by Sanjaya, except the beginning, the first chapter. The first chapter, Sanjaya describes what happened on the battlefield, right? He describes how different people assembled on both sides and how they blew the conch shells, all those things. So Sanjaya does not, Krishna does not speak. Arjuna starts speaking towards the end of first chapter. But I think about 25 shlokas from first chapter were spoken by Sanjaya only. He describes what and all happened on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And then later chapters, chapter 11 and chapter 18, Sanjaya glorifies Bhagavad Gita. In chapter 11, when Krishna shows universal form, Sanjaya glorifies how beautiful that universal form is. And then in chapter 18, Sanjaya glorifies Bhagavad Gita, how glorious the conversation between Krishna and Arjuna is. So Sanjaya says, I would like to hear this conversation and again. As I was hearing this conversation, my hairs were standing on end. He was getting goosebumps. So he says, I would like to hear this again and again. So he glorifies. Even though he is not in Krishna's camp, he was in Dhritarashtra's camp, but he is a devotee of Krishna. He likes Krishna, and he glorifies Bhagavad Gita in 18th chapter. Yeah. Okay. So in this section that we started discussing last week, Arjuna asks the qualities of a Sthitha Prajna person. And Krishna starts describing the qualities of Sthitha Prajna person. Sthitha Prajna person means one who has a steady mind. Sthita means steady. Prajna means intelligence or mind, basically. Okay, intelligence. One whose intelligence is steady, or one who has a steady mind. Sthita Prajna. So why did Arjuna ask this question? Is it random or was there a context before that?
In order to fight in the battlefield used to be Sthitha Prajna. I'm not
Okay.
clear about that.
Yeah. No, what was the immediate context before this section? So this section started at 2.54. Arjuna asked, Sthitha Prajnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava sthitadhir kim prabhasheta kimasita vrajeta kim. What are the qualities of a Sthitha Prajna person? How does he sit? How does he walk? And how does he speak? These are the questions asked by Arjuna in 2.54. So what happened in 2.53 that made Arjuna to ask this question?
Before, I think Krishna explained about like how to act, right? Karma, about
Yeah, in Niskama Karma Yoga. Yeah. Yeah. 2.47 Karmanyevadhikaraste, art of working. 2.47-48 onwards. So Sarita, you were saying something?
Don't impact the rituals described in Veda. Find your soul or samadhi sthiti. So he said that's why he want to know about what is samadhi sthiti and how to be like balanced. So maybe in that context he asked how to be like that.
Yeah. Okay. But the Trigunya, this sloka is Trigunya Vishaya Veda, Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna. So that was spoken before 2.47 actually, before Karmanyevadhikaraste. So the shloka Trigunya Vishaya Veda, right? Somewhere in 2.40, 45, somewhere. 45. Trigunya Vishaya Veda, 2.45. So that was before Karmanyevadhikaraste. I mean, it was in the section of Nishkama Karma Yoga only. So that is one good shloka you can say, where Krishna said, Nirdvandvo Nitya Sattvasto. Nirdvandvo means, Dvandva means what?
Two.
Duality. Good or bad, success or failure. Okay? Dvandva is duality. Nirdvandva means the opposite. No duality. That means not considering success or failure, not considering good or bad. Nirdvandvo. Nirdvandvo Nitya Sattvasto. Always be situated in this Nirdvandva state, non-duality. Okay? So this is also context for Arjuna's question. Why Arjuna asked what are the qualities of a Sthitha Prajna person. Okay? This is also one context. The context immediately before 2.54 is so 2.52, 53, 54, I mean 52 and 53, actually 51 also. Okay. Karmajam buddhi yukta hi phalam tyaktva manishinaha janma bandha vinirmukta padam gacchantyanāmayam. Yadate moha kalilam buddhir vyatitarishyati tada gantasi nirvedam shrotavyasya shrutavyasya. And 2.53, Shruti Viprati Pannate Yada Stasyasi Nischala. Nischala. Okay? Nischala means unwavering, unshakable state of mind. Yada Stasyasi Nischala. Samadhau Achala Buddhihi Tada Yogam Avapsyasi. So, if you look at the translation of 2.53, when your mind is no longer disturbed by the flowery language of the Vedas. Oh, this is what you are saying, Sarita.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So the same thing. Traigunya Vishaya Veda also, same thing.
Those 4 shlokas are telling almost the same.
Almost the same thing. Yes. Krishna is basically repeating, to establish the point firmly. Krishna repeats sometimes. The same thing that he mentions, he repeats in different ways. When your mind is, because the mind is always looking for something new, right? If Krishna repeats the same shloka, Traigunya Vishaya Veda 5 times, you will not pay attention. But if there is a new shloka and then new meaning, new message, then you will pay attention. Oh, what is Krishna telling here? Let me focus. So to grab our attention, Krishna is telling the same meaning in a different shlokas. Okay, he's repeating basically. So when your mind is no longer disturbed by the flowery language of the Vedas, and when it remains fixed in the trance of self-realization, then you will have attained the divine consciousness. Okay. So Krishna is saying that when a person remains fixed in the trance of self-realization, then you will have attained divine consciousness.
So probably we can understand like this is all like to make us understand to how to we have a skill in actions like to perform yoga.
Mhm.
Like in day to day life, how to be our mind
Yeah,
we perform our karma to just like a sustain to establish some yoga.
yeah.
We can understand in that way.
Yes. So basically, in this section where Krishna describes Nishkama Karma Yoga, he describes art of working. How we should work without attachment to the results, and how we should progress from how we should connect that work as a yoga to connect with God. So right now we are all just working. We are working for our material benefits. Okay, I want a house, I want a car, I want nice gadgets, I want nice jewelry, nice clothes, so many things. So we are working to satisfy our desires. We have so many desires. So right now we are working to satisfy our desires. But in this section, Krishna is asking, Nishkama Karma section, Krishna is asking us to work without attachment to the results. Without attachment to the results. So see the work as a means to connect with God. That is yoga. Nishkama Karma Yoga or Karma Yoga. So when you are able to connect with God through your work, that is Karma Yoga. When you are able to connect with God through knowledge, that is Jnana Yoga. When you are able to connect with God through Ashtanga Yoga, that is Ashtanga Yoga. When you are able to connect with God through your meditative process and the asana, pranayama, all those things, then it is Ashtanga Yoga. When you are able to connect with God through your devotional service, Bhakti, then that is Bhakti Yoga. So we have 4 different types of yogas: Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. So first he is talking about Karma Yoga. Then Krishna talks about Bhakti Yoga in the same chapter, second chapter. He gives a summary of Bhakti Yoga. The details of Bhakti Yoga are in the middle of Bhagavad Gita, from chapter 7 to 12.
So, Prabhuji, we can understand that karma yoga means like to be stable in the mind.
Karma Yoga means
To make a sthita prajna of mind.
uh,
To perform karma, we
the,
have to be stable.
the karma itself will not make you stable. Karma itself will not make you stable. Karma, when combined with jnana, that will make you stable. Jnana. Yeah. So even though Krishna is not giving the details of jnana here, which will be explained in chapter 4 and 5. Okay, especially chapter 4. So this Karma Yoga, Nishkama Karma Yoga, Krishna will explain in more detail in 3 chapters. Chapter 3, 4 and 5. Karma Yoga combined with Jnana.
So when the jnana will come, then only sthita prajna will be there.
Yes. Yeah. When you have knowledge, then you will become Sthitha Prajna. Yeah. So you need to have both knowledge and act on that knowledge. Yeah. Both are equally important. Just performing action is not sufficient. And just acquiring knowledge is not sufficient. You should have both. You should acquire jnana and act on that platform of jnana.
Realization, knowledge of realization.
When you act on the platform of jnana, then the realization will come. Yeah. So action without knowledge will become mechanical. There will not be any motivation after some time. Initially you will be excited to do some action, but after some time, you'll lose the motivation. So knowledge will inspire the action. Knowledge will inspire the action. And action will fructify the knowledge into wisdom. So when you act, then that knowledge is theory, right? So knowledge is theory, but you need to have some practical realization, saying that I am the soul and there is God, there is a relationship between God and me. So that realization will come when you act on the platform of knowledge. Yeah. So knowledge is jnana and wisdom is vijnana. Yeah. So
But Krishna never used this term exactly, right? So the Sthitha Prajna. So Arjuna is the one who started with this term.
now in this shloka here, if you look at 53, right? Samadau achala buddhi. Achala buddhi. It's the same as Sthitha Prajna. Yeah.
So one is no duality and one is Sthitha Prajna. Those two questions prompted to Arjuna to ask those questions. Those are the two
Yeah.
things prompted for him to
53, especially 53, shloka 53. So sthita is not steady. Achala is also steady. Okay. Buddhi, and buddhi is intelligence. Prajna is also intelligence.
Prabhuji, when we keep our five senses sthita prajna, then only the steady of mind will come, right?
When we
Five
give up,
senses. When our five senses are sthita prajna, then only that our stable mind will come, right? The sthita mind will come.
yeah, when we control our senses.
Senses,
Yeah.
only that is interlinked between the senses and our mind.
Yes. So the controlling of the mind, mind is also one of the senses. Okay. So we have five senses, and mind is the sixth sense. Oftentimes we hear this word, right? Sixth sense. My sixth sense is telling. It's nothing but the mind only. It's not like some superpower from within you is telling. My mind is telling, which is not correct always. So mind is considered as sixth sense. It's just a number basically. There's no significance to the word sixth sense.
So I think last time we gave the example, elephant likes the female, right? So
Yeah.
then it is danger actually. Fish likes the food,
The
right?
taste.
The taste of food, right?
Yeah.
So then his life is
Yeah.
trouble, right?
So different
Animals, right? Yeah.
different animals have a strong different animals have one of their senses as very strong. Okay, there are five senses. Not all the senses are equally strong. Okay, before that we need to understand that senses are strong.
Yeah.
Okay, that we should know about that fact.
It affect our mind. So senses are so prominent
Yeah.
that it affects our mind, so it will dominate actually.
Yeah. So first we need to know that senses are strong. Okay. And not all the senses are equally strong. Some senses can be very strong, some senses can be weak. And weak is good actually. Don't think that strong is better here. Weak is better. This is the one time when weak is better. Strong is not better. So, and there are some animals who have one of their senses as very strong. For example, fish. The sense of taste is very strong. So the fish can find so many things to eat in the water. But still, when the fisherman puts some insect as a bait at the end of the fishing rod, and when fish sees that, oh, it is some lucrative thing, as if the fish cannot find anything in the water, it will go and grab that insect, and then it will get caught. So similarly, different animals have different, senses which are very strong. One of the senses. The point is to say that even if one sense is super strong, and it will carry away your mind, your life will be in danger. Now, what to speak of when all the five senses are strong and they will carry away your mind? That is even more dangerous. If one sense carries our mind, that itself is very dangerous. And when all the five senses are pulling us, that's even more dangerous. Okay, so that we'll discuss again in today's shloka. So 2.50. So in the last section, last class, we discussed the importance of controlling senses and how Krishna answers Arjuna's questions. How does a Sthitha Prajna person sit, walk, and speak? How does he speak means it's not like whether his voice is how is his voice. That's not Arjuna's question. Is his voice like S.P. Balasubramania's voice, or it's not like that. Is it melodious or harsh? It's not like that. How does he speak means how does he interact with others? How does he use his sense of taste and speech, with others? And how does he sit? It does not means does he sit on chair or on the floor? Not like that. How does he sit means how does he withdraw his senses? How does he control his senses? And how does he walk means how does he engage his senses? How does he engage his senses? And how does he sit how does he sit? How does he withdraw his senses? Krishna gives an example of tortoise. Kurmonganiva sarvashaha indriyan indriyartebhyah tasya prajna pratishtita. Just like how tortoise withdraws its limbs when not in use. Whenever tortoise notices some danger, tortoise withdraws all the limbs, including the head, and keeps under the shell. So from outside, you will see only a shell, and people will think it's just some rock or something. Or the other wild animals, when they see that shell, they'll just think it's just some rock or shell, and they'll not attack. So similarly, when we see some danger to our senses, we have to withdraw. We have to withdraw our senses so that our mind and senses will not attack us. So that is how one withdraws the senses. Okay, we should withdraw senses like a tortoise. And how should we engage our senses? Because the senses are very strong. You cannot just shut the senses artificially and say that I am protected. The first instruction is to withdraw the senses, to control the senses. But is it possible for human beings just to withdraw the senses like how tortoise does? Can we tie our hands and legs and our nose? We cannot do that. So the next question is, how to engage the senses then? We have to engage the senses. We cannot shut the senses, but how to engage the senses? Where the soul is active. The jiva is very active. And soul always wants to engage your senses in various activities. So how to engage the senses? That also we discussed. So we have to engage our senses in serving Krishna. Rishikena Hrishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Uchyate. Krishna is the controller of the senses or the master of the senses. The word Hrishika means senses. Hrishika Isha. Hrishika plus Isha. Hrishikesha means controller of the senses. Isha means controller. Okay. Parameshwara. What does Parameshwara means? Parama plus Ishvara. Parama means highest. Ishvara means controller. The highest controller, the supreme controller. That is Krishna.
Ishwara and Bhagavan is same person?
They are synonymous. Yeah. Yeah. So Bhagavan means creator, controller, maintainer, and destroyer. So creator, controller, maintainer, and destroyer. Yeah. So he is the supreme controller, Parameshwara. So Hrishikesha means one who controls the senses, or one who is the master of the senses. Okay. Sarvopadi vinirmuktam tat paratvena nirmalam Hrishikena Hrishikesha sevanam bhakti ruchyate. When our senses, when we serve the master of the senses, who is Sri Krishna, with all our senses, then two benefits will happen. One is our senses will be purified. See, right now our senses are contaminated. Our ears, they're all hearing all the junk all the time. And with our tongue, we are eating all the junk and we are speaking all the junk. And with our touch, we are doing all kinds of things. So and with our vision or with our eyes, we are seeing all unwanted things. So all our senses are right now contaminated. So how to purify? How to purify the five senses and also our mind? So that is by serving the senses of the Lord, serving senses of Krishna. So when we serve or when we engage our senses in the service of the Lord, then our senses will be purified, nirmalam. Okay, tat paratvena nirmalam Hrishikena Hrishikesha sevanam bhakti ruchyate. Okay.
By chanting also senses can be purified, right?
Yes. Yeah. So that's one of the most important processes of devotional service is chanting. All the Navavida Bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Archanam, Sevanam, Pada Sevanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam, all these 9 different. So is everyone aware of all the 9 different processes of devotional service? Okay, now let's go around the classroom and tell one of them. No, just tell the name, that's all. Okay, start with Mahi. Tell one of the names of the 9 processes.
Chanting is a smarna. That's first.
Shravanam, Kirtanam, Archanam.
Bhakti.
No, these are the 9 processes of Bhakti. Yeah.
I know the Shravana one.
Yeah.
And
So Shravanam,
Vandanam, thank you.
Vandanam. Okay.
But I don't know the meaning exactly. Shravanam, I know when listening.
Yeah.
And Vandanam means to say.
Yeah. So we'll discuss the meaning also. Okay.
Padasevanam.
Padasevanam.
Maybe stories, reading, katha.
That is Shravanam.
Savana.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Unless and until we know the meaning, we not.
Shravanam is the one everyone knows. Shravanam Kirtanam is the one everyone knows.
Unless and until we know the meaning of Guruji, we will not memorize it.
Yeah. So we'll discuss that. Okay. Sarita,
Atmanivedam, last one, Guruji.
Atma Nivedanam. Okay. And no, we missed a few others. Sudhakar. Okay. Praveen. Dasyam. Yeah.
Smaranam is done. No, Vishnu Smaranam.
Not that.
Smaranam is not there.
It's there.
Oh, Vishnu Smaranam. Vishnu Smaranam. Yeah. So you said Sakyam, right? Dasyam and then Sakyam. Yeah. Okay. Shravanam. Everyone repeat, please. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Archanam, Padasevanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. Yeah. Okay. Shravanam, hearing. Let's understand in simple words, not more details, just simple words. Okay. Shravanam is hearing. Kirtanam, singing, glorification, basically. Glorifying. Singing can be multiple forms. Singing the bhajans, the kirtanam can be of multiple forms. You can, so the word kirtanam comes from the root word kirti. What does kirti mean?
Glory.
Glories, name, fame. Okay. Kirti Sheshulu, right? After a person has died, what do they write? Before their name, what do they write? Kirti Sheshulu, Rama Rao Garu. Okay. Kirti Sheshulu, Rama Rao Garu. That means, Shesha means their Kirti is still remaining in this world. They have left the world, but their kirti, their name and fame is still there in this world. Kirti. Kirti means glories, name and fame. Now we can sing glories of the Lord by singing bhajans, or by chanting, or what else?
By decorating, by doing services also, by decorating God,
By telling Krishna Katha, by speaking Krishna Katha.
speaking.
Okay? Singing songs, chanting, and by telling Krishna stories. Krishna Katha. Yeah. Three different forms. Kirtanam has three different forms. Okay, that is Kirtanam. To glorify the Lord. So Shravanam, hearing, Kirtanam, glorify the glories of the Lord. Vishnu Smaranam. Vishnu Smaranam is remembering the Lord. Okay, remembering Lord. Remembering Lord has again different forms. Remembering the name, form, qualities, and pastimes of the Lord. Name, form, qualities, and pastimes. Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, and there is Dhamma also. The holy places of the Lord. 5 things. Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, Dhamma. Okay? So that is Smaranam. And then Archanam. Kalpana mentioned Archanam. Archanam means
Puja.
worship. Worshipping the Archa Murti of the Lord. The deity that you see in the temple is Archa Vigraha. Archa Murti or Archa Vigraha. So Archanam means worshipping the Archa Murti of the Lord. Okay. Next. Pada Sevanam. Serving the lotus feet of the Lord. Like how Lakshmi Devi is serving. Okay. Then
Dasya.
Dasyam is service. Like Hanuman. Always be in the position of servant. See, if you look at what's the difference between Hanuman and other devotees, like Yashodamai, she also served the Lord. Huh? All the gopis, they are the great servants of the Lord. What's the difference between Hanuman and other devotees who served Lord?
His bhava towards Lord.
Yeah, gopis have highest bhava actually.
His bhava is like a servant, and gopis is like a conjugal lover.
Yeah, so difference between Hanuman's service and other service of the other devotees is, other devotees like Yashoda Mata, she is in the motherly relation with the Lord, and the gopis, they are in conjugal loving relationship with the Lord, and Arjuna, he is in friendly relationship with the Lord. So like that, different devotees, they are serving the Lord in some relation. But Hanuman, there is no other relation other than servant. That's the beauty. That's the greatness of Hanuman. Only seva. No other relation. If you are in some relation and you are asked to serve, then it's somewhat easy. But if you are only given the position of servant, just serve, no other relation. That's the greatness of Hanuman. Yeah. Okay. Dasyam. Sakyam is serving Krishna in friendly relationship. Okay. Like Arjuna did. And then Atmanivedanam. Atmanivedanam is serving the Lord by offering yourself completely. Okay. Including your mind, body, karma, manasa, vacha, karmana. By your action, by your mind, and then by your vacha, speech. Yeah. Everything. You offer yourself completely. Okay. Your body and soul, everything. Atma Nivedanam means
What is it?
Atma Nivedanam. Nivedana means offering. What are you offering? You yourself. You are offering yourself. Atma. You are offering your soul. Before that, you offer everything that's related to your body, your action, your speech, your mind, your time. You offer everything of your body, and then you offer the soul also to Krishna. Atma Nivedanam. Complete surrender. Okay, like how Bali Chakravarti did. Okay, he offered everything to Vamanadev. So like that, different examples are there for all these 9 devotional processes, how different devotees,
Discuss, Prabhuji.
how they exalted in their service in that particular limb, how they have perfected that particular limb. Like for example, Shravanam. Who has perfected in the process of Shravanam? Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj, he had only 7 days. He had only 7 days before his death. There was a curse, and then Parikshit Maharaj was cursed to die in 7 days by a snake bite. Now Parikshit Maharaj, he went to Sukadev Goswami and asked, what is best for me to do in these 7 days? Then Sukadev Goswami started narrating Srimad Bhagavatam. So in those 7 days, Parikshit Maharaj, he did not eat, he did not sleep, he did not drink water, he did not go anywhere. He was just sitting in the same position, continuously hearing Srimad Bhagavatam very attentively. That is Shravana. So like that, I mean, when there is some time, we can discuss these 9 different processes of bhakti in detail.
Prabhuji, 8 only we discussed, no? The 9th one is
So Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Swaranam, Archanam,
Padasevanam.
Sevanam, Dasyam, Shakyam, Vandanam. Okay, yeah, very good. Yeah. Okay, somebody is counting. Good. Vandanam. Vandanam means offering prayers. Offering prayers. Offering obeisances. When you go to temple, you bow down before the deities, right? That is Vandanam. Or simply doing Namaskara, that is also Vandanam. Or reciting some prayers and offering Vandanam. This is all Vandanam. Okay. Akrura. Akrura is the one who perfected in this process of Vandanam. Okay. So when Akrura was asked to bring Krishna from Mathura to from Vrindavan to Mathura, so then Akrura goes. Akrura was working in Kamsa's assembly. So Akrura goes to Vrindavan to bring Krishna, and then as soon as Akrura sees the footprints of Krishna in the dirt, then he immediately offers obeisances. He offers his prayers. So there are different prayers prayed by different devotees. Kunti Mata, she offered prayers. Prahlad Maharaj, he offered prayers. Dhruva Maharaj, he offered prayers. Gajendra Moksham, Gajendra Stuti, Gajendra offered prayers. Gopis offered prayers, Gopi Geet. So like that, different devotees offer different prayers that are very inspiring. Bhishma Stuti, Bhishma Dev offered prayers when he was lying on the Ampashaya, the bed of arrows for 11 days. He was reciting prayers on the bed of arrows. Bhishma Stuti. Vishnu Sahasranama. Yeah. So Bhishma Stuti is a set of about 15-20 shlokas that are there in Srimad Bhagavatam in first canto. And then he also spoke Vishnu Sahasranama. Yeah. So like that, there are 9 devotional processes. Okay, Navavida Bhakti. Bhakti can be performed by these 9 different ways. And if you perfect in any one of these processes, your life will be, the purpose of your life will be fulfilled. You can go back to spiritual world. You will not go through the repeated cycle of birth and death again. Punarapi Jaranam, Punarapi Maranam will not be there. Okay? You will be liberated. So we discussed how to engage our senses in the service of the Lord. So we can engage all the 5 senses in serving the Lord. Okay? Now how to get the motivation, or how to be inspired to serve, to engage our senses in the service of the Lord. So first instruction is to control the senses. Now it is not artificially possible to control the senses, we have to engage the senses. And the best way to engage the senses is to engage the senses in the service of the Lord. Now, how to get inspiration or how to be motivated to engage our senses in the Lord, that is discussed in today's Sloka 2.59. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavarjam rasopyasya param drushtva nivartate. Vishaya, objects for sense enjoyment. Vinivartante, are practiced to be refrained from. Niraharasya, by negative restrictions. Dehinaha, for the embodied. Rasavarjam, giving up the taste. Rasa, sense of enjoyment. Api, although there is. Asya, his. Param, far superior things. Drishtva, by experiencing. Nivartate, he ceases from. Okay, so Rahul, go ahead and read the translation.
Though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense object remains. But ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and read the purport.
Unless one is transcendentally situated, it is not possible to cease from sense enjoyment. The process of restriction from sense enjoyment by rules and regulations is something like restricting a diseased person from certain types of eatables. The patient, however, neither likes such restrictions nor loses his taste for eatables. Similarly, sense restriction by some spiritual process like Ashtanga Yoga in the matter of Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, etc. is recommended for less intelligent persons who have no better knowledge. But one who has tasted the beauty of the Supreme Lord Krishna in the course of his advancement in Krishna consciousness no longer has a taste for dead material things. Therefore, restrictions are there for the less intelligent neophytes in the spiritual advancement of life. But such restrictions are only good until one actually has a taste for Krishna consciousness. When one is actually Krishna conscious, he automatically loses his taste for pale things.
Yeah. Okay. So now here, Krishna is giving the formula for getting inspiration or motivation to engage our senses in the service of the Lord. In the conditioned state of our life, we are identifying with our body, and we would like to engage our senses in serving our own body. We want all the enjoyment to our body. We want a comfortable place to stay, comfortable place to sleep, nice palatable things to eat, nice clothes to wear, all those things, nice things to see, all those things. Whatever gives pleasure to our senses, that is what we would like to do. We want, for example, ears. The ears always want to hear good things about ourselves. If somebody criticizes, even if there is some bad thing in us, and if somebody criticizes, we cannot take it. If a person has done 99 good things to us, but if he speaks one ill thing about us, then we'll remember only that ill thing. We'll forget all 99 good things that he has done to us, and we'll remember only that one bad thing that he has done to us. So just like how our ears, they always want to hear good things about us, similarly all other five senses, they always want good things for our body. Okay, but the solution or instruction given by Krishna is to control the senses. Okay, now we need some inspiration. Now to control the senses, we need to engage the senses in the right way. Instead of serving our body, we have to serve Krishna's body. Now the inspiration or motivation is in this shloka. The inspiration is we have to get higher taste. When we get higher taste by serving Krishna, then that will inspire us. Or when we get a higher taste in engaging our senses, then we will learn how to control the senses, or then we will learn how not to engage senses for our own self. Okay, we'll learn how to engage our senses in serving Krishna. Okay, you have to get higher taste basically. For example, a diabetic patient. A diabetic patient, when he goes to the doctor will give an instruction not to eat sugar, not to eat sweets and sugar. But he likes the sweets. He likes sweets. So now what is the solution?
Control.
How to control? There has to be some motivation, right? Inspiration. Because for a person who likes sweets, sweets are the only inspiration.
Yes. Exactly.
Sweets are the only inspiration and motivation. Now the instruction is completely opposite. Stop eating sweets. Now he needs to get a instruction which is higher than just eating sweets. He needs to have a higher taste. The higher taste doesn't mean what? Sugar free. Sugar free sweets.
This corporate is coming with that.
Yeah.
alternatives, right?
Yeah, sugar free sugar.
Yeah, sugar-free.
Sugar free sugar. Sugar free sweet. Sugar free sugar. Yeah.
Needs another inspiration. Other than the sweets, he needs another inspiration. Sweets inspiration, not
Yeah.
another inspiration, which is of higher end.
So here higher taste means it's not like finding something that is more tasteful than gulab jamun. If a person likes gulab jamun, higher taste means the instruction is not to find something higher than gulab jamun. Okay, but higher taste means it's not necessarily what tastes, whatever tastes good to the tongue. Something higher, something that gives you higher purpose, higher meaning. Okay. Now in the example of this diabetic patient, what can be higher meaning, or what can give the patient a higher purpose?
Long lasting for him.
Life, basically. Life, right? Long lasting life. Very good. Long lasting life is the motivation for him. Because he knows, the doctor tells that if you continue eating sweets, you will die very soon. Very soon, all your limbs will stop functioning and you will die soon. So the higher motivation for him is life, his life itself. So when he has that higher purpose or higher meaning than just sweets, then he'll be motivated. So similarly, when you get bliss, when you experience bliss by serving Krishna, then that gives you higher taste. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha param drishtva. The higher taste is param drishtva. Param drishtva. Higher taste. If you look at ISKCON books, right, there is one book with a name Higher Taste. It's all about cooking. It's all about cooking varieties of vegetarian dishes. Now, why that book was named as Higher Taste?
Because we offer it.
So, who is that book meant for? It is not meant for devotees. I mean, it is beneficial for devotees also, but more than devotees, who will be benefited more? Those who non-vegetarian people. It is meant for, the book was written with a purpose, keeping the non-vegetarians in mind. Because non-vegetarians, they think that Oh, the non-vegetarian. The meat is more delicious, more tasty than a vegetarian. Vegetarian, what is there? Just salt and pepper. Nothing else in vegetarian dishes. That's what they think. Most of the meat eaters, they cannot quit meat eating because they think that is the most tastiest thing. Meat gives them the highest taste. That's their impression. That's why they don't want to give up. But when you offer them varieties of vegetarian dishes that are more delicious than meat, then they'll be inspired. And that's the truth actually, right? It's not just writing for the sake of writing, or it's not just for the sake of converting those people to vegetarians. It's not like that. That's the reality, that's the truth. Vegetarian, there are varieties of dishes which are more tastier than meat eating. So when you present that higher taste to them, they'll be inspired. Okay, that's why the book name is Higher Taste. Param Drishtva. If you look at the shloka, the last line, Param Drishtva, higher taste. When somebody experiences higher taste, then it is possible to engage senses in the service of the Lord. Otherwise, if you are asked to chant, if you are asked to read books, if you are asked to go to temple and do some service, if you are asked to do Shravanam, Kirtanam, all these things, there has to be some motivation, right? So unless you get that higher happiness by doing these activities, you will not be inspired. So when initially you may not get that taste. Initially, from day one, you will not get that higher taste, right? Even if you don't have higher taste, if you simply start doing it, experiment, right? You're just giving it a try. We are trying out so many things to get happiness in life. Just like how we are trying out so many things, just try it out. Just try out this process also. Just try out this process also. Just give Bhagavad Gita a chance. We have read so many books in life. We have heard from so many things. We have approached so many different counselors and psychologists for our problems. We have consulted so many astrologers. When will my problems go away? When will I get job? When will I get good wife? When will I get a house? We have consulted so many astrologers in life, right? I also did that.
It happens like it's so tempting, while eating the dishes, unless and until we have a correct knowledge about that,
Yeah.
then only we can able to do it, because the time also is a factor, I think.
Yeah.
Time and the knowledge. Otherwise, even though we read also, we will not convince ourselves to get tempted to the eating, right?
Yeah.
So even I think nowadays the foods are more of out of the body.
Foods are?
Not of the tongue of the body, I think. Which is good for our body, we are not eating.
Yeah.
Just for
What is good for the tongue,
we are eating.
whatever tongue is demanding, that's what we are doing.
So because of the environment, or why it is so like this, probably because this is so saturated, the foods are nowadays.
Yeah.
And also we are eating because it tastes good for our tongue, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what. An advertisement, the kind of advertisement.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right, environment. And the environment affects our consciousness. Environment, it influences our consciousness. So it spoils our consciousness, it spoils our intelligence. So you'll not be able to discriminate between what is good to eat and what is not good to eat. That's why you end up eating everything, all junk only. You'll end up eating junk only. So there is a nice shloka in 18th chapter where Krishna says, Yatatagre vishamiva pariname mrutopamam tat sukham satvikam proktam atma buddhi prasadajam. Yatadagre vishamiva. Agre visham. Agra means what? Beginning. Starting, beginning. Agra. Visham means poisons. Agre visham means it appears like poison in the beginning. It appears like poison in the beginning. Now there is another shloka, 18.37 and 38. No, 36 and 37. No, 37 and 38. Okay. So 37, Krishna says, that which in the beginning may be just like poison, but at the end it is just like nectar, and which awakens one to self-realization, is said to be in the happiness, is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness. So basically what Krishna is saying, that that which appears like poison in the beginning but ends like nectar in the end is beneficial. But what do we do? Krishna tells that in the next sloka, 18.38. Vishayendriya samyoga yatadagre amrutopamam pariname vishamiva tatsukam rajasam smrutam. Yatad agre amrutopamam. Agre amrutopamam means, amrita means nectar. Agre means in the beginning. Agre amrutopamam means it appears like nectar in the beginning, and pariname vishamiva. Pariname means gradually. As time goes by, vishamiva, it will turn out to be like a poison. So all the junk food that we are eating, it's like nectar in the beginning. It's like nectar in the beginning. Yatadagre amrutopamam. But what happens if you continue eating junk food after 10-20 years? It will turn out to be like a poison. You will realize the harmful effects that the junk food has caused to your body. You will not realize in the beginning, because in the beginning everything is like nectar. Eating French fries is like nectar in the beginning, especially the salt, the amount of salt content in the French fries. Oh, it's like nectar.
Frozen also, Prabhuji. It's very frozen. The French fries is frozen and then.
Yeah, it's frozen. Yeah, even if you make fresh also, it's not good, because you have to deep fry, right? Yeah. So these days air fries have come up. It doesn't taste so much. It doesn't taste so good. Air fry thing doesn't taste so good. So, but we like to eat only deep fried ones. One day Mahi made nice. What was that, Mahi? Dondakaya. Ah, nice dondakaya deep fried vepudu. It tastes so good. You cannot resist. It's like nectar in the beginning, but gradually, I mean, you can eat. Once in a while you can eat. Whenever Mahi gives once in a while like that, I can eat. But if I eat every day like that, that's why my wife doesn't make every day. So, which is good, right? Pariname vishamiva. So if you continuously eat the junk food, it will be like poison. But when you are asked to eat, vegetables, salad, sprouts, khichdi, it's like visha. It's like visha in the beginning. Yatadagre vishamiva, pariname amrutopamam. Whatever appears like poison in the beginning, but ends up like nectar in the end. That is good for us. Whether it is eating or doing any activity, anything. So this is the biggest challenge, right? When we are asked to do sense control, which is the topic of this discussion, right? So for sense control, the biggest challenge is the mind always takes the path of least resistance. Mind always takes the path of least resistance. So whenever you are asked to do something, okay, the mind only picks that path where there are less obstacles. If it is not very challenging, the mind takes that path. No matter whether the path is good or not. Okay, initially there should not be any obstacles. Okay, the starting thing should be very easy. Then the mind will take that path. But as Krishna mentioned in these two slokas, 18.37 and 38, so if you just follow your mind and take only that path that appears like good in the beginning, but may not be good in the end, that is not beneficial to us. So sense control, when you are asked to control your senses, it will appear like poison in the beginning. But even though it is like poison in the beginning, if you practice controlling the senses, in the end it will be like nectar. In the end it will be like nectar. So the word Vishaya, if you look at this sloka, right, 2.59 that we are discussing, Vishaya Vinivartante. So what is the meaning of the word Vishaya here?
Objects, sense objects.
Sense objects. Indriya, Vishayendriya. Okay? Sense objects that give enjoyment to the senses. Senses are Indriya. Sense object is Vishaya. So there is sense. I is the sense. And whatever I looks at, that object is Vishaya. Okay? Vishaya, subject or object, whatever it can be. So now the word Vishaya almost sounds like Visha, right? Like poison. Now that tells how strong our senses are, how harmful the sense objects are. Every day we are seeing so many things, we are hearing so many things, we are tasting so many things, we are touching so many things. And most of them are harmful to us. Most of them are harmful to our consciousness. So just like this poison, the sense control, the process of sense control is like poison in the beginning. But if somehow we discipline ourselves and start practicing sense control, in the end, it will be like nectar. It will be beneficial for us. Okay? So, Vishaya Vinivartante Niraharasya Dehinaha. But there is a challenge, right? Okay, this instruction is good. Even though it appears like poison in the beginning, but if somehow we discipline ourselves and control our senses, it is good. But the challenge is, here Krishna is saying, Rasavarjam Rasopyasya Param Drishtva Nivartate. The taste for sense objects remains. If you look at the translation, though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense objects remains. But ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. Okay? So, for example, let's talk about no onions. Okay, not eating onions. The instruction is given for a good purpose. You should not eat onion because onion is in the mode of passion. Okay, onion and garlic, they are in the mode of passion and ignorance, passion and ignorance. Okay, so now initially it will be very difficult to follow that, because onion pakoda especially, right? It's so tasty. Even though you make a cabbage pakoda or this pakoda, that cashew pakoda, dondakai pakoda, bendakai pakoda, or so many things, spinach pakoda.
Without onions, the curry will not taste. First, initially, we'll add onions only. We'll start with onions and let out the curry.
Yeah.
We are habituated with that taste.
Yeah, but nothing matches an onion pakoda, right? So even though we have stopped eating onion pakoda, or you start giving up onion and then control your senses and replace onion with so many different things, still the taste for onion pakoda remains. That's what Krishna is saying. The taste for sense objects remains. Though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, though we may be restricted from eating onion pakoda, the taste for onion pakoda remains. That's what Krishna is saying here. Okay?
So why Prabhuji like this? Why it is remaining?
because we are conditioned for a very long time.
Okay.
See, let's say a newborn baby, okay, a baby born in devotee family. From day one, they don't have a taste for onion, so it's very easy for the children. For the children who are born in devotees families, it's very easy for them. So in India also we see a lot of these Brahma Kumaris and different spiritual organization people, right? Or for example, Jain family. Jain family, for the children it's very natural, very easy for them not to eat onion garlic. You don't have to force them. There's no struggle. It's very natural for them because from the beginning they are not conditioned to eat onion. They are only conditioned to eat other things, other vegetables.
That's why non-vegetarians are challenging vegetarians. You never taste. That's why you are not eating non-veg. Once you taste, then you will not live like that. They will tell me. Vegetarians, they never taste non-veg. That's why it's easy to maintain like that. They will argue with us.
Yes, yeah, that's true. They never taste.
Yeah.
But once they start tasting the varieties of dishes available in vegetarian,
Yeah.
food, there are so many things. Yeah, you can spend your lifetime, in preparing these dishes and eating. Yeah. So non-vegetarian, there are only, there are 10 different varieties. That's all, right? Chicken, how many varieties you can make? Not so many varieties, right? But vegetarian dishes, for everything you can make several varieties. Yeah. So pakoda, for example,
That is the start with onion only.
is there chicken pakoda? Can somebody make chicken pakoda?
Yes, I do.
Huh? Yes.
Those who doesn't like onion, they will do.
Yeah. Okay, let's say they can make chicken pakoda. But vegetarian pakodas, how many? There is spinach pakoda, broccoli pakoda, cabbage pakoda,
For
huh?
every vegetable.
Cashew pakoda. Yesterday in the Balaji temple, Bellevue temple, they made cashew pakoda.
Wow.
Huh? Yeah. So it was so rich, so tasty. So many things. So once you get this higher taste, then you will give up the things of lower taste. That's the formula here. The inspiration to control the senses is to get the higher taste. Namami Narayana Pada Pankajam Karomi Narayana Pujanam Sada Vacham Vadami Narayana Nama Nirmalam Smarami Narayana Tattvam Avyayam. Kulshekar Alvar says in Mukundamala Stotra, Namami Narayana Pada Pankajam. That means I offer my obeisances to the lotus feet of Krishna. Namami Narayana Pada Pankajam. Pada means feet. Pankajam means the lotus. Lotus like feet of Narayana. Namami Narayana Pada Pankajam. Karomi Narayana Pujanam Sada. Okay. Let me offer worship to Lord Narayana always. Karomi Narayana Pujanam Sada. Sada means always. Puja means worship. Karomi Narayana Pujanam Sada. Vadami Narayana Nama Nirmalam. Vadami Narayana means let me utter the holy names of the Lord. Nama Nirmalam means Nama means name. Nirmalam means no contamination. The holy name. Vadami Narayana Nama Nirmalam. Okay, with my tongue, let me sing the glories of the names of the Lord. Okay, the holy name of the Lord. And Smarami Narayana Tattvam Avyayam. Smarami means let me remember. Who? Narayana. Of what? Tattvam. Tattvam means the personality of the Lord, the qualities of the Lord, the rupam of the form of the Lord, everything. Okay. Smarami Narayana Tattvam Avyayam. Avyayam means like imperishable, eternal, okay, infallible. That is Avyayam. Smarami Narayana Tattvam Avyayam. So you have to get higher taste. Initially, you may not have taste. Okay, when you are first asked to chant, you may not have taste. I mean, even now, many of us, we don't have taste for chanting. But if you continue doing it, even though we don't have taste, if you continue doing that activity, one day you will experience higher taste. And when you experience that higher taste, you will give up all the things of lower taste. That's the formula. See, now you're all coming to the temple Tuesdays and Thursdays to do service, right? Because that gives you some happiness. Otherwise, okay, now if I ask Sudhakar to go to MTR restaurant and wash dishes, will he get any motivation? Oh, I'm already an IT professional. I'm earning more than what I can earn at MTR restaurant. Why will I do that? Now, whereas in the Samamish temple, they don't even pay anything. Parth Prabhu calls him many times. They don't pay anything. Still he goes. Still he goes. Why? Because he has a higher taste. That gives him more happiness than the job at Microsoft. That's why he's... Now, if he is asked to wash dishes at home,
Why did you laugh here? Jyoti is thinking that
will that give him higher taste?
Jyoti, it's everywhere. He's home.
Will that give him higher taste? That we have to ask Jyoti.
even when temple she says she's laughing. I don't know why.
Okay.
Forget about home. Temple also she's laughing.
So basically, we have to experiment something and then experience higher taste. Okay. So remember all those two slokas from 18th chapter. Yatadagre vishamiva.
One more question. Like the lotus feet we say, right? Prabhuji, lotus. So that flower lotus, why that only flower lotus has a significance in all? Like always,
Lotus feet.
always lotus. Only that flower, why Prabhuji?
First of all, it is soft, beautiful. The color is beautiful. The form of the lotus petals, the shape of the lotus petals is beautiful. The smell is beautiful. It's very fragrant. And there are many other flowers which are probably more fragrant than lotus flower. Like Parijata. I think it's more fragrant than lotus flower. Okay. But the speciality of lotus flower is it grows in mud.
Mud.
Okay, despite growing in mud, it has a beautiful fragrance, beautiful form. Everything is beautiful about it. It does not get affected by that dirty mud in the water. Okay, so Krishna tells in chapter 5. There is an instruction in chapter 5. Krishna tells Padma Patram Ivambasa. Krishna asks everyone to be like a lotus flower. Padma Patram Ivambasa. You don't have to wait for your surroundings to get better and then you will change. That is how many people say, right? Okay. If somebody asks you to become a better person, if somebody asks you to control your mind, control your senses, become a better person, then they'll say, I'm trying to become a better person. I'm trying to control my senses, but my wife, she's always provoking me. Or my colleagues are provoking. My surroundings are not favorable. If surroundings are favorable, then you are not a great person, right? When surroundings are not so great, then if you are able to become a better person, then you are considered a great person. That's what Prabhupada says. The test of a great person is proven in provoking situations. When everything is favorable, then there is no greatness. When everything is unfavorable, still you are controlling yourself, then you are a great person. So that's why Krishna says, Padma Patram Ivambasa. Be like a lotus leaf or lotus flower. So even though the surroundings are like mud and the lotus flower is growing in the mud, but it is not impacted. It's not contaminated by the mud because it has some wax-like coating. Okay, that's why it's not impacted by the mud. Similarly, we have to have this wax coating to our senses and body, mind, and everything, and not be impacted by our surroundings. Because how many people we can change? If we say that, okay, I'm trying to become a better person, but if that one person changes, then I can change. Okay, let's say that person becomes a nice person. Now tomorrow another person comes who will become your enemy. Now how many people can you keep on changing? You cannot change people. Rather, we change ourselves. It's better to change ourselves.
I think cleanliness in India has this big argument, right? When we are throwing, because we see, hey, everybody has thrown this like garbage everywhere, so we also keep throwing. But
Yeah.
until unless we stop,
Yeah.
we are the ones, like part of those everyone, right?
Yeah. As Mahatma Gandhi says, right? Be the change you want to see in the nation. Be the change that you want to see in the nation. We talk about so many things. Okay, this should be like this should be like that. But Mahatma Gandhi said very beautiful thing. Be the change that you want to see in the nation. Whatever change you want to see, you implement it. If you implement, then everybody else will see that as an example and implement. Yeah. So that's why lotus has that speciality. So that's why everything about all the limbs of the Lord's body are compared with lotus. Lotus hands, lotus legs, lotus eyes, everything lotus. Yeah. Padmanabha, lotus like navel. Yeah. Everything about Lord except the hair. Huh? Padma Kesha. I haven't heard the word Padma Kesha. Because hair cannot be like lotus. Then it will not be beautiful. It has to be compared with something else. Hair can be compared with, I don't know. Just like how different parts of the Krishna's body are compared with lotus. What is hair compared with?
Clouds.
Huh? Clouds, huh?
Yeah, clouds. And I think in Bhagavatam, actually, in the Virat Roop, I was reading about Virat Roop, it said like all the trees and all this
Forests.
Yeah.
Like arms are like mountains. And
Yeah, and so trees were considered
Trees.
as all the hair and Krishna's hair.
Trees like
All the
considered.
Vanaspati, yeah. all
Okay.
that,
I think that was body hair, right? So, but I was just asking about the hair.
yeah. Yeah, any hair. I think it was Rome. The word was Rome, but yeah.
Hmm.
But cloud is also, I think, other places I have heard like cloud is the Shamal cloud is.
Okay. In one story I heard hair is compared to serpent also, especially ladies hair, how it is long and then sometimes it's curvy, right? Just like a serpent. But yeah, I think we can do some homework and find out what's the best object, because lotus is a beautiful object, right? So comparing Krishna's limbs with lotus, which is very beautiful and which is a special flower, similarly, what is the special thing that we can compare Krishna's hair with?
usually you just say locks of curling hair and locks.
Yeah. But there may be some object, some special object with which the hair can be compared to. Okay, that's some homework for us. We to do. Okay, now. Okay, so we have to get higher taste, and to get higher taste, you have to start tasting it. If you don't even taste, how will you get higher taste? So that's why even if you're not liking it, you have to start tasting it. Yatatagre vishamiva parinama amrutopamam. In the beginning, it will be like poison. But if you keep on doing it, it will be like nectar. Okay? So you remember that shloka from 18th chapter, 18.37 and 38. Yatatagre vishamiva amruta pariname amrutopamam. And the opposite of that is Yatadagre amrutopamam pariname vishamiva. In the beginning, it will be like nectar. But as you go by, it will be poisonous. Okay, next 2.61. 2.60, sorry. Next day. Yatato hyapi kaunteya purushasya vipashchitah indriyani pramadhini haranti prasabam manaha. Okay, translation and purport. Sarita, you want to read? Sarita, you still there? Okay, gone for lunch maybe. Okay, Praveen, you want to read?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Translation, we'll read the synonyms.
No, translation.
The senses are so strong and impetuous, O Arjuna, that they forcibly carry away the mind, even of a man of discrimination who is enduring to control them. Purport. There are many learned sages, philosophers, and transcendentalists who try to conquer the senses, but in spite of their endeavors, even the greatest of them sometimes fall victims to material sense enjoyments due to the agitated mind. Even Vishwamitra, a great sage and perfect yogi, was misled by Menaka into sex enjoyment, although the yogi was endeavoring for sense control with severe type of finance and yoga practice. And of course, there are so many similar instances in the history of the world. Therefore, it is very difficult to control the mind and senses without being fully Krishna conscious. Without engaging the mind in Krishna, one cannot see such a material engagement. A practical example is given by Sri Yamunacharya, a great saint and devotee, who says,
Yeah, you can skip the Sanskrit shloka.
since my mind has been engaged in the service of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, and I have been enjoying an ever new transcendental humor, whenever I think of sex life with a woman, my face at once turns from it, and I spit at the thought. Krishna consciousness is such a transcendentally nice thing that automatically material enjoyments become distasteful. It is as if a hungry man had satisfied with a hunger by a sufficient quantity of nutritious eatables. Maharaja Ambarisa also conquered a great yogi, Durvasa Muni, simply because his mind was engaged in Krishna consciousness.
Yeah. Okay. So now, when sadhakas are trying to control their senses, it's not very easy, right? There are many challenges. Now, even for a person who is very learned, who has read all the Shastras, who has read all the Vedas, and even a person who is able to discriminate between good and bad, still it's not possible to control senses. Why? Senses are so strong. The reason is senses are so strong. So senses are compared with senses have two attributes. One is senses are like mad. Okay, senses are like mad and they are very strong. Now imagine if a person is strong. If a person is strong, assume that the person is bad. So how much damage that person can create? Now imagine the same person is also mad, not only strong but also mad. He's bad, he's strong, and he's mentally not well. He's mad. So how much damage can that person create? So that's why senses are compared to a mad person who is very strong. Mad and strong person. Okay, like a mad elephant sometimes. Okay, now mad elephant, if you just let the mad elephant go in the streets, in less than no time, it can damage the entire street. It can damage the houses, the cars, all the different objects on the street, and people, everything. It can destroy everything. So just like mad elephant, pramadini, indriyani, pramadini. Pramadam means danger. In Telugu also the word, right? Pramadam. Agitating or dangerous. Indriyani, pramadini. Haranti prasabam manaha. So the dangerous, such dangerous senses, what is the danger that they can cause? Haranti prasabam manaha. Haranti means throw or destroy. What can they destroy? Manaha, the mind. They can destroy the mind. The senses can destroy the mind. If we cannot control the senses can destroy the mind. And vice versa also. If the mind does not control the senses, then the senses will go in wrong directions. The mind cannot control the senses can go in wrong directions. Does everyone know this analogy of chariot of life? Chariot of life. Have you heard this?
Mahabharata story that
You heard this in one Mahabharata story? Okay. Anyone else? Rahul Prabhu, you know, right? Yeah. Abhishek Prabhu? You didn't know? Okay. Sudhakar?
In the book it will be there, right? The top picture is the
There's a picture. Very good. Yeah. Chariot of life. Yeah.
Five senses.
Huh?
Five senses and
Yeah.
controller.
So chariot of life. Let me open the picture and then we can talk about that for those of you who don't know that. Haranti can also means defeat. Yeah. Defeat, destroy, kill, all those things.
Character, right?
If you all have Bhagavad Gita book, you can look at the front page of the cover page. You know? So if you look at this picture here, right? So this picture shows the chariot of life. Okay, the analogy is called chariot of life. So what are the different things that you see in this picture? Horses, Krishna, Arjuna, the chariot itself,
and the reins.
Yeah, the ropes are reins. Okay, so you see 5 different things. Now the horses represent senses. 5 horses in the picture represent 5 senses, and the ropes or the reins which are controlling the horses represent our mind. And then the chariot itself is the body, and Arjuna is the soul. Okay, the chariot passenger. Okay, the one who is sitting on the chariot. Okay, soul is sitting in the body, right? Body is chariot, and who is sitting in the body? The soul is sitting. So Arjuna is sitting in the chariot. Arjuna is soul, Jiva. And then Krishna, who is Krishna? Intelligence. Okay. Now, let's say Krishna is not there. So who is controlling the horses?
Mind.
The ropes are controlling. Now what do the ropes represent? Mind. So in the absence of the intelligence, in the absence of proper intelligence or good intelligence, the mind will control the senses. Now, if the mind says, okay, let's say the chariot has to go in the straight path. Now on the way, one of the horses see a fruit on the side. Now if one horse goes drifting the path, now what happens? chariot will not go in a proper direction. Okay, chariot may go straight or may go to the side. Chariot will not go in the proper direction. It will not reach the destination properly. Now, if the mind keeps on misguiding the senses, what will happen? Eventually, the chariot will be destroyed. The horses will be destroyed, and the chariot will also be destroyed. So it's danger to the horses as well as danger to the body itself. Not only to the body, but the soul also. Arjuna, right? Arjuna is hitting on the chariot. So Arjuna's life is at risk. So our own soul will be at risk if the mind is not controlling the senses properly. Now, who will control the mind?
Intelligence.
The mind has to control the senses. If there is no intelligence, then the mind will dictate her own dictation to the senses. Okay, which is always not correct. That's why Krishna, in the form of intelligence, has to guide the mind. So under the guidance of the proper intelligence, the mind will be able to control the senses properly. So this is the chariot of life. So we have to cultivate intelligence. Only with good intelligence we can discriminate what is the right thing to do and what is the wrong thing to do. So yatato hyapi kaunteya purushasya vipaschitaha indriyani pramadini haranti prasabam manaha. Now here Krishna is not talking about one who is completely a materialistic person. See, materialistic persons anyway, they don't have any sense control. Their philosophy is eat, sleep and be merry. Do whatever you want. No rules and regulations. For the materialistic people. Krishna is not talking about a materialistic person here who is not following any rules and regulations. But he is talking about a person, a sadhaka, a devotee who wants to progress in the spiritual path. Still, for a person who is a sadhaka, who is practicing spirituality, it is difficult. It is difficult for such a person to practice this. Okay, indriyani pramadini haranti prasabam manaha. The senses are so strong, O Arjuna, that they forcibly carry away the mind even of a man of discrimination. A man of discrimination means a person who is trying to follow what is good and what is bad, or to follow what is good and avoid what is bad, the do's and don'ts, rules and regulations, all those things. Okay. See, Ravana, he was a great learned person. But still, he could not discriminate between what is good and bad. Because his senses were so strong, he could not control his senses. And Prabhupada gives an example of Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra, he did tapasya for several hundreds of years. And Vishwamitra was a great sage. We are just ordinary people. Vishwamitra was a great sage. Still, he was disturbed by Menaka. Now what to speak of us? So that's why we have to get higher taste. Higher taste, and also actually in the later shlokas, Krishna tells a very important instruction. So I don't know if we'll get time or not. We'll see. So last paragraph Krishna says, Krishna consciousness is such a transcendentally nice thing that automatically material enjoyment becomes distasteful. It is as if a hungry man had satisfied his hunger by sufficient quantity of nutritious eatables. Maharaj Ambarish also conquered a great yogi, Durvasa Muni, simply because his mind was engaged in Krishna consciousness. Now, when Shastras have to give an example of a person who has controlled all his senses, who has perfected in sense control, it is the example of Ambarish Maharaj. Okay, So he has excelled in controlling his senses. So like that, when there are different things, they have to give examples of different devotees. For example, just now we discussed the Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, the Navavida Bhakti, right? 8 different processes of devotional service. There are different devotees who are taken as examples who have perfected in these Navavida Bhakti. Similarly, Ambarish Maharaj is a perfect example who has controlled his senses. Uh, Krishna consciousness is such transcendently nice thing that automatically material enjoyment becomes distasteful. Because this process itself is very joyfully performed. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, Sloka 2, Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Idamuttamam Pratyakshaavagamam Dharmyam Susukam Kartum Avyayam. Susukam means this process is performed very joyfully. This process means Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is performed very joyfully. Other yogas like meditation and all is not so joyful. But Bhakti Yoga is so joyful. There is dancing, feasting, festivals, so many things. Whatever party people do, we do everything. In fact, we do much more than what they do.
If we party once in a while, we party every day.
We party every day. And that too 4:30 or 5:30 in the morning.
But Prabhuji, how to educate them? They doesn't know because the time is a factor or because of the karma. Because we know that okay, after chanting 16 rounds we feel great pleasure.
Yeah.
But if you tell that them, then they will laugh at us, right?
Yeah.
So how to educate them? What would be the right way? Because we also want that everybody should know about the Krishna and
Yeah.
because everybody is sufferer, but they don't know they are suffering.
Yeah.
To make them educated.
Yeah, that's a good point. Many people do not acknowledge that they are suffering.
Yeah.
And as you said, time is a factor. Okay, time is a factor. All the so-called non-devotees also, they are devotees of God. Time is only separating them. So when the right time comes, life will teach lessons to them.
Also, that's by grace of some other great devotee. You get
When they come in contact with great devotees or when life teaches some lessons. For example, Ambani's family, how did they turn to spirituality?
They went through difficulties and they started.
Huh?
They went through difficulties and they started.
Especially in the recent times, they come to ISKCON temples and they invite ISKCON monks to their place, and they try to worship Krishna. They're so rich, right? They're so rich. They can do anything. They can have any type of happiness that any materialistic person can think of in this world. Still, they turn to spirituality. Why? Because life taught some lessons, especially in the recent times. Ambani's son, he was going through health issues, right? He was very handsome and very thin, very normal person. But all of a sudden, some health issues. And that's when they started taking spirituality very seriously. Maybe his parents were also, his father also, Mukesh Ambani was also, not Mukesh Ambani, Dhirubhai Ambani also, maybe he was a pious person. So some of it comes from the family. Some, the life teaches lessons. And in some cases, when they come in contact with great devotees, they change. So it's only time. Time is separating them. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita chapter 7, there are 4 kinds of people who come to God. Artho Jignashur Artharthi Jnani Cha Bharatarshava. There are Artha Bhaktas. Artha Bhaktas means people who are in distress. People who are in distress, they want to get rid of their distress, they come to God. Then Artha Bhaktas. Artha Bhaktas means they want Artha. Artha means wealth, money. People who want money. And then Jnani. Jignasa. Before Jnani, Jignasa. Jignasa means people who are curious. They want to know about God. Everybody is talking about God. I just want to know about God. I don't want to be left out. there's always this FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. FOMO, FOMO, fear of missing out. If you don't know about God, maybe you are missing out something. Everything in your life is good, but if you don't know about God, maybe you are missing something. So you are just curious, jignasa. And then jnani, one who want to cultivate knowledge about God, who want to take up this path seriously. And better than jnani is bhakta, actually. Okay? So, yeah, the materialistic people, who are our friends, they will not listen now. If we go and tell them that, hey, can you come to Bhagavad? I'm going every week. Can you come?
Yeah, they doesn't.
They laugh at you.
Yeah.
And even Arjuna also, when he was sad, then only he asked about the
Yeah.
path, right?
Yeah.
Before he did not ask, right?
Yeah. Because before that he knew that he was thinking that he knew everything. He doesn't need Krishna, or he doesn't need any help. But then, he was a powerful, great Kshatriya. When he came to that battlefield, when he saw Dronacharya and Bhishma Dev, his heart was overwhelmed with compassion. He could not fight. So like that, life presents some situations in life. And when there is a situation, then we will turn to God. Yeah. Then we will ask the question, why me? Why is it happening like this? I'm such a good person, but still everything bad is happening in my life. We'll start, inquiring these questions. Okay. It's 156. Okay, I think we can stop here. Okay, before we wrap up, any questions, comments, reflections? You want to add anything about sense control?
So,
Any
So
practical
in this
tips or
not-
anything you want to share?
here, Prabhupada in this purport gives an example of Maharaj Ambrish, so everyone knows the story of Maharaj Ambrish.
I know, yeah. It was like Ekadashi Vrat one, like when he was to break the fast and the Varsarishi was getting late.
Yeah.
And also in recent times, like another example given is of Haridas Thakur. You know Haridas Thakur? So maybe you can.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So here the example of
Haridas Thakur is Namacharya. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki.
Yeah.
You might have heard this in the, after Aarti, right? In the Gaur Aarti, in the temple. Gaur Aarti means 7 o'clock in the evening. That Aarti that happens in the temples, ISKCON temples, that's called Gaur Aarti. After Gaur Aarti, everybody will bow down and then they will recite Jayadvani prayers. And one of the lines is Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Yeah.
So in the purport, Prabhupada gives the example of Vishwamitra, who was a great sage. He was a yogi, but he couldn't control his senses when he was lured by Menaka, right? So Haridas Thakur was an associate of Lord Chaitanya, and he's, as Prabhupada mentioned, that he's called a Namacharya. He is a taste for holy name has developed. Like he is
Preaching, right? Something?
not preaching,
No.
but the taste for holy name was
Chanting.
so much that
Chanting.
he would chant like more than 22 hours a day. And he'll just take a little rest and then he'll start chanting for the other day. So he has developed that higher taste that we are talking about here, right?
Yeah.
So, and he was from a Muslim background. He was born in a Muslim family. So, people were not very happy that, he is practicing Krishna consciousness. So they wanted to defame him and they sent a prostitute to lure him. But he was not agitated at all because he had that higher taste and she couldn't lure him at all.
Yeah.
I think for 3 days she was
And she
there.
became a devotee instead.
Yeah, so first day
She came
he said,
to
I will
him.
talk, wait for some time.
I have to
And-
finish my rounds
I have
today.
to finish my chanting.
And for
then
3 days she
I'll
was
attend
there
you.
and then she surrendered like...
Yeah, 192 rounds every day. Yeah. Now you do the math. How much time it takes?
I think when students, it doesn't feel also.
Yes.
We are
Time
so
will expand.
involved in that. Even now we are counting like 16 rounds when we love somebody.
Yeah.
And we are so engaged in that we doesn't feel hours of that. Years also it will happen.
Yeah.
We will do in such a way. We should have that attachment with that.
Yeah.
Then only that it comes, I think.
Yeah, like we go in office, we look at the time
Yeah,
when we start.
exactly.
But for family, if we are working, we don't look at time, right? We
Yeah.
just like how long it takes. And same
Yeah.
way, if the prema is with Bhagavan, I think it's the
Yeah.
same way.
Yeah, when you love somebody, you'll sacrifice everything. You'll sacrifice your time. You'll sacrifice your own material enjoyment. You'll sacrifice everything. You know, for our children, we do that, right? We sacrifice our time. We sacrifice our own enjoyment because we know that if we spend time in taking care of the children, in spending quality time with the children, that will be more beneficial.
So Prabhuji, one more, this Vishwamitra has such distraction because of the senses. So
Yeah.
because of his karma or because to teach us for the upcoming, like because such subtle person cannot do like sir, why it happens like with such a yogi also because of his life karma it happened, or to make us the upcoming generation, to make us teach in such a way such yogis also can be distracted with such senses.
Yeah, it's not karma. There can be two things, right?
Qualities,
Like it
nature.
is, there are certain qualities that a devotee must cultivate. And Vishwamitra was, although he was a spiritual person, he was a yogi, but he had a pride that, with my yogi powers,
Ego.
I can control anything.
control anything and all.
Because
Yeah.
of that
Yeah.
factor is there.
Yeah.
He actually started to compete with other rishi, right?
Yeah, that was
Who has
that
this
factor.
mystical cow. I forgot the name of the. So he wanted to become a Brahmarshi, but that's where I think he wanted to do that.
Yeah.
But his goal is not to know God, but to get powers.
No,
Initially he
his
started.
his goal is to connect with God only, right? That's the goal of any yogi.
Yeah.
So, and he's a very elevated, highly exalted yogi. But because of his yogic power, he developed some kind of pride.
So he was a Kshatriya actually.
Yeah.
And then I forgot the name of the Rishi Prabhu who has this cow, the cow who can feed Kamdhenu. So he wanted that Kamdhenu from that Rishi, but Rishi denied.
Yeah.
When he tried to fight, but Rishi has so much of
Vasishtha Muni.
Vasishtha Muni, yeah. So he has so much of like Rishi was there because he was a Rishi.
Yeah.
So he thought like, okay, I am the bravest Kshatriya and still I can't defeat this Rishi, so I should take the challenge of becoming a Brahmarshi. And that's when it all started. But on the path, he just became devotee.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's the pride, just like how we discussed in one of the shlokas. Even if one of our senses is carrying away our mind, then it can destroy the whole thing. Yeah, one of the 6 anarthas: Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Mada, Moha, Matsarya. One of the anarthas or one of the senses, they are carrying away our mind, then that can destroy the whole thing.
Because in the meantime, on the way of his all this meditation, the first step he became a Rajarshi, and then also he went and again tried to see like if I cannot defeat that other Rishi. But then again, because he was a Maharshi, so he again wanted to pray, and Brahmarshi, like Maharshi, then Brahmarshi, then he wanted to please Brahmaji and become a Brahmarshi.
Yeah.
So we give an example, the onion and the ignorance, right? It promotes ignorance, right?
Yeah.
So suppose a person know about Bhagavad Gita, everything, right? So you have
Onion, passion, garlic, ignorance. Garlic, ignorance.
Oh, onion also ignorance. I think somebody told this. It improves ignorance also.
Passion, onion, passion. Yeah.
But some garlic you can take example, right?
Yeah.
So suppose I read the Bhagavad Gita, somebody knows Bhagavad Gita and all, so he acquired the knowledge that he is not a body, he is a soul like that, right?
Yeah.
Then what is the point why he can eat right now? right? Because he already he
Oh,
doesn't
why
have
to eat?
ignorance, right?
Why to eat?
Huh? He can eat now, right? I was telling.
No, but now knowing the fact that it is in mode of ignorance, if you are eating, then
Then he did not understand. He did not get a
But
point.
ignorance is gone, right?
It's
Because
not
already
gone, that is
applied-
not
That's
gone.
why eating garlic. Ignorance is not gone, that's why
So,
eating garlic.
the right knowledge you have to take is not to be in ignorance and passion, mode of passion and ignorance. That's what Bhagavad Gita is teaching, right? So if you are saying, knowing that this is in mode of ignorance and still
See,
No,
it's a,
ignorance means that I do wrong things, right? No discrimination, nothing,
No,
right? So that is the
no,
question.
no, see, if you're saying that somebody read Bhagavad Gita and he knows everything now. So, knowing without practice doesn't make sense, right? Yeah, so, let's say you know that, okay, for running the car, you need to put gas in it. Now, this is knowledge. Now, you say that now I have knowledge, I can put anything in the car. No, right?
No, I can't. Yeah, you cannot drive.
Yeah, it will not drive. It will not drive.
So, just knowing that, okay, I read Bhagavad Gita, now I know everything, then that knowledge makes sense only when you practice that. And the practice is that you don't need garlic.
Yeah. So, for example, okay, now I'll try to answer in your own words, right? So, let's say the person, who is a great devotee and a great monk, like a sannyasi, take one of the sannyasis in ISKCON and then great monk, he has perfected his life. Now, if he starts eating garlic or onion, that means he has violated one of the 4 regulative principles. And Harilas Maharaj always says, if somebody has violated one of the 4 regulative principles, very likely he will violate all 4 regulative principles. And what happens? Complete fall down. From a position of an exalted monk to a completely ignorant person. Yeah.
But you still have knowledge, right? No, even though he falls little.
No, if he has fallen down, then where is the knowledge? Knowledge is also gone.
Knowledge is of no use then.
Yeah.
Ravan knowledge is huge. Ravan. If we fall down, there's nothing.
Yeah,
Ravan was knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Ravan is a very good example.
Yeah.
He was
Ravan.
Ravan is knowledgeable. He is
Yeah.
a Pandit.
So I don't know whether Ravana was eating onion garlic or not.
Means at least he never respected
Even
the Lord.
Ravana or Hiranyakashipu, everybody was knowledgeable.
Yeah,
Like,
Knowledgeable, yeah.
Very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
They were not surrendered, right?
Yeah.
I think even the example which is given Vishwamitra, he was not surrendered to the Lord, although he was a yogi.
Yeah,
Whereas Haridas Thakur was totally surrendered, very humble.
That's what. To know about higher taste, after knowing the higher taste, we will not even dismiss all this kind of sense gratification.
Yeah.
After knowing the great taste,
Yeah.
all the desires.
Yeah. So the focus should not be more on onion and garlic. The focus should be more on remembering Krishna.
Even
Smartav.
giving of onion garlic, like Jains don't eat onion garlic. But they are
Yeah.
not like-
They don't remember Krishna.
Another thing is, once you have knowledge also and you have tasted a higher taste, why would somebody eat garlic? Like, just smell it and you'll see that, is it just something not...
It will be very disgusting.
It's
The
very
smell
disgusting.
itself will be very disgusting.
Yeah. If you go that stage, everything will be.
Yeah, then why, I mean, you will not, even somebody else is eating, you will think, why, how can somebody eat this?
Yeah. So the focus is not, initially the rules and regulations, do's and don'ts will help. But throughout the process, the most important principle is, more than the do's and don'ts, the highest principle is remembering Krishna. Smartavyam satatam Vishnu, vismartavyam najatuchit, sarve viddi nishedasyur, etayor eva kinkaraha. Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. It can be given in one line, right? Just remember Krishna. But why are they saying always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna? To say the point very firmly, to establish the point very clearly, they are telling the same thing in 2 different ways. Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. Both are same, right? The meaning of both lines is same. And etayor sarve viddi nishedasyur. Viddi means do's. Nisheda means don'ts. all the do's and don'ts are the two servants of all the servants of the two principles. The two principles are the highest. Always remember Krishna, do not forget Krishna. Those are the highest principles. And the do's and don'ts, it's good to follow, but they are subordinate or servants of the two highest principles. So, okay, we'll stop here. It's 2:10. It's already late for lunch. Thank you everyone for joining. Hare Krishna. We'll continue next week.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.